What is innovation?
Customer needs change every day. You got to be able to meet them.
To be able to spot human talent and to be a good leader.
Innovators dream of things that never were and ask why not.
Creators that continue to be challenging, you have to keep creating.
Make people's lives easier.
I feel where curiosity and talent meet each other.
The future, it's recognizing the future.
Reimagine what is possible.
Innovation to me means creating something entirely different.
Leaders from Silicon Valley, China, and all over the world.
Welcome to Innovation Dialogue. Today's dialogue is a panel discussion on what should Cupertino do to Vallco shopping mall. And thank you everybody for coming. And thanks to all the community leaders and citizens who have made their time to this discussion. And also thanks to the audience who's watching our discussion right now on internet and on YouTube. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Cupertino Rotary Club, and the president is next to me, and City of Cupertino, our former mayors, and the organizations and people who sent me the emails and made the phone calls and gave me suggestions and informations. Thanks to Gary Jones, who's the one who brought up this issue to me and helped us to make today's discussion happen. Thank you, Gary. And we started this, putting all the things together actually from this Monday. You will see it's so in such a hurry, which is true, but I feel it's so urgent and necessary. And as a Silicon Valley entrepreneur, media entrepreneur, this is what I learned. Actually, you can never be ready. So we just take action and go forward and believe in God, because God will open our eyes, open our heart, and get things ready before you even know this. So I believe that with integrity and honesty, and today's discussion will bring valuable information to the citizens, to everybody, to the Chinese community. And we have invited former Mayor Chris Wan and Mark Santoro and City Planning Commissioner Dong Sun, and they are not able to come today. I have also invited Vice Mayor Barry Chang, but he told me it will be a conflict of interest if he comes. But he totally supports this. And we have also contacted the construction company, and they won't be able to come today, but they are willing to learn from this discussion what Cupertino cares about, what are the concerns, and what needs should be addressed, what excites people. So the more people can participate and contribute, the better. And they may be able to join us next time. And I've been a Cupertino Rotarian for more than 4 years. I love Cupertino. I love people in Cupertino. And we hold Silicon Valley Food and Art Festival in Cupertino, and we sponsored Chinese Movie Night in Cupertino. So that's why we're doing this. And I hope that we can kick off this communication through public media to let the voice be heard, let the truth come out, and make this city a better place. So thank you so much. And we're going to give each panelist 3 to 5 minutes. When you exceed your time, I'm going to cut you off. Yes. And also, we're going to open Q&A for 30 minutes. And Joey and Joyce from U-Channel are going to help us to collect the questions from audience. And so we're going to have our panelists to answer the questions. So we're going to start with Gary Jones, who brought up this question and issue, to give us a whole story in 5 minutes.
Well, I think I'll give my 5 minutes to somebody else. I'll take maybe a minute. I called Diane, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago and suggested a small panel because it was fairly obvious that Vallco is more than just a failing mall. It's now a ghost town. As of today, Macy's has formally released their announcement that they'll be closing April 15th. They're opening a 150,000 square feet facility in Newen, Bloomingdale's, at the Valley Fair Shopping Center. I think it's known as West something, I can't remember the name. But they're definitely leaving. Sears and Penny's are probably leaving as well. So with Macy's leaving, the mall is now 60% vacant. And as a concerned citizen of Cupertino, I'd like to know what the direction for the mall is going to be in the future. And what I've just seen written and seen at city council meetings and some of the workshops, I think it's going to be exciting. They're talking about smart growth. They're talking about an urban village which has retail, it has housing element, and commercial space. There's a lot of fear around a project that size among the residents in Cupertino and other stakeholders, people who have to drive through or commute through Cupertino because of traffic. There's also the issue of with more residences, that means more children for the schools. And I believe these issues can be resolved. For every problem, there's normally a solution. We're pretty smart people in Silicon Valley, so I believe we can solve the problems that people are raising out of fear and a lack of what I consider to be creditable information. So what I don't want to have happen is I don't want to have people come back at the end of this next process and say, oh, we didn't know this was going on. We call time out, and let's start this process basically over. And I don't want that to happen, so that's why I suggested this. I expected one or two people. I had no idea it was going here, but thank you very much. You've done a great job. And I'll defer the rest of my time to these qualified speakers.
Okay, thank you, Gary. And we want to have our Mayor Rod Singh to explain the construction plan. Yes.
Construction plan at Vallco. Well, there isn't any yet. What's remarkable, I will say that I moved to Cupertino in 1987. And at that time, I moved to Denison Avenue, 2 blocks immediately west of Vallco. And Vallco was a destination. Vallco was one of those places where I'd go meet friends. I'd suggest, why don't we meet at Vallco and maybe at some particular shop, get something to drink and go stroll around. And a destination is one of those places where you can enjoy visiting multiple places and meeting friends and gathering and having a great time. Someplace in between 1987 and now, it ceased to be that destination. So the language we used to use is, let's go to Vallco. And anymore we say, well, you want to go to the movies, we can go to AMC Theater. But that's not the destination anymore. Destination for shopping that serves most of Cupertino is Valley Fair. One metric I've heard, and I don't have the exact numbers, I'm seeking to get them, but the belief at this time is that Vallco is producing somewhere between 5 to 10% of the revenue that Valley Fair does per square foot. So, as is the case across the country, maybe you've seen the Nightline special or the NewsHour, PBS NewsHour special that aired in late November on dying malls across the city, or you saw the New York Times article last week. We're in a position that many others are, where the shopping mall that served us in the 80s is no longer the thing. And Valley Fair has won, and we can't bring back the mall we once had. It's not feasible. Our retail consultant published a detailed report with lots and lots of data on April 1st of last year, telling us this with a lot of specifics. So I'm excited that for the first time in my residency in Cupertino, and since the mall has been in decline, that one developer has put together the major parcels, 50 acres. Now compare that to Valley Fair is a little more. Compare it to Main Street that's going up, 18 acres. We have a major opportunity there to get a new use for that land that I think will be exciting to a broad spectrum of residents in Cupertino. And I don't know exactly what it'll include. There are no construction plans yet. There are no architectural plans. I've seen no drawings. But we can expect by the time this is done, I'm told, that an investment of something like $2 billion will likely be put into these 50 acres between purchase and tear down and construction. And I think in that kind of budget, there's opportunity for all kinds of benefits to the community to build, yes, a new destination that represents the tastes and interests of Cupertino residents today and going forward for the next generation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I heard that you know, some of the Cupertino citizens and UBC, you come out a plan for the Vallco Mall, right? So Jill, you want to explain that to us?
Yes, I'd be happy to. This is not really a plan in so much as some of the residents in Cupertino, especially those of us that live very close by to Vallco, would like to see Vallco be revitalized. And what I'm hearing is the experts believe that that's not possible. We think that it is possible. It is a huge concrete block right now that is very difficult for traffic and probably even more difficult for walkers. I have tried to go from what was old Vallco Village at the corner of Wolf and Homestead, and that is a very vibrant, small community shopping center, and no easy access across 280 to get to Vallco Village. If there was some way to be able to walk from one area, one mall to the other, we think that it could be vibrant. It is mainly designed for traffic now. By that I mean auto access completely. So we have a freeway as a barrier, and it's good for traffic because they can, you know, they can get on and off Wolf Road to 280, but not easily get into the mall in any other way than to drive. And there's also a big barrier on Wolf Road itself. It's not easy to cross the street from some of the apartment buildings that have already been built to access the mall. There is some more open space in that, for example, where Sears is, and there is a new gym, and the gym is also built with Starbucks, and that's a nice destination, but again, not very easy to get there from anywhere else. So one of our questions would be, is there any way to increase the square footage that would be available for large stores? We currently have about, I think it's about 1.2 million square feet altogether of space for stores. And if maybe we could double that, could we not attract some stores? We're planning to use this space for office buildings. Office buildings and demand for office space in Cupertino is very high, which is excellent for us in Cupertino. But of course, if you have office space, that's not really a living environment. So in the evening, it goes completely turned off, like the financial center in San Francisco. There's nobody there at night, evenings, weekends. It would be the same thing. There'd be no way to make walking traffic or driving traffic convenient and convenial for people who live in Cupertino. So I think part of the plan is to remove the cement block. That's probably a very good idea, to tear it down, open it up, provide some apartments and office buildings. But our question again was, is it completely impossible to revitalize Vallco and make it sell again? So that was our major point.
Thank you. And Mayor or Gilbert, would you like to comment and reply this?
Sure. So as the former mayor and now current council member, both Rod and I specifically cannot talk about the Vallco Mall because it will come before us. But what I'm really excited is that the council has set up an opportunity for the new owners to do a specific plan. And I think that the resident who gave some wonderful ideas is that these is what the owner and the city council and city staff would like to hear, in that what do you want to see in our new mall? I was born and raised here in Santa Clara County, went to Vallco Mall when it was Bullocks and went to the Gap, and it was a place to be. But those were the old days, and these are the new days. And here we're home of Apple and Facebook, and there's so much innovation and technology here that how can we create our new destination mall? How can it be what we want? And these input from our residents is very important. And we're talking about a process that is not going to be overnight, but a 2 to 3 year process of many small public hearings, outreach, that's all going to be driven by the new property owner. Before it was owned by 3 department stores and a main mall owner, and the new owner has bought out everything and can kind of start from scratch. And I think that we started with a good start under our former mayor, Richard Lowenthal, who encouraged the owner to do something new. And we got a great start with the AMC movie theaters, with Dynasty Restaurant, with the bowling alley, and now we're ready to move on to the next phase of the mall.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gilbert. Today we're talking about the future for Vallco Mall. So, Andy, do you have any questions or comments? Yeah. You prepared an article here.
Yeah, I wrote a little article, but I'm not sure if I can read it off in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's an honor to be invited to be sharing our ideas and thoughts with such a distinguished guest. I'm honored to be here. As a 14-year resident of Cupertino, my family and I, we have shopped at Vallco, of course, not only for the holidays, but all the special occasions. And the kids, they probably spend more time with the AMC movie theaters and the bowling alleys. But we, the adults, we make up the difference by visiting the restaurants like the Dynasty, like the Benihana's. And then, in fact, I found it actually easier to visit the restaurants at Vallco than compared to like BJ's or like Elephant Bar, because actually a BJ Elephant Bar, you have to fight for parking space. At BJ is a little bit better. You can actually pay for valet parking. But Vallco, there's abundant parking space. So as an engineer, I often wonder, said, if I'm managing Vallco, why don't I just invite BJ's and Elephant Bar to come and set up at Vallco? Either as a primary store, move the location, or just a secondary store. I mean, we have over 5 Starbucks just in the little city Cupertino. We certainly can afford a second BJ's and a second Elephant Bar, right? So that's one of my thoughts. Okay, and then once I start thinking that way, I say, well, we don't have to stop there. We can actually further expand. Let's look at all the other successful local business in Cupertino. Let's look at Panera Bread, right? They have a parking problem. Let's look at the newest 85 Degree C. They just started last year, thriving business. Let's look at Paris Baguette, right? Another thriving business. They all have abundant customers, lots of patrons, but all facing the same issue, parking problem. Well, guess what? In Vallco, we do not have a parking problem. We have ample parking, ample space. So if we can invite some of these successful local restaurants to move over or set up shop in Vallco, well, we don't have to stop there, right? Let's invite all the other successful business. Main Garden just closed in Palo Alto. We can invite them to come to Cupertino. They're well known in the entire Bay Area. Let's look at Red Lobster. They're well known in the Bay Area. Let's look at Olive Garden. They're advertising on TV all the time. Well, guess what? You know, if all of these restaurants come to Vallco, we have just doubled the amount of restaurant retail space in Vallco. We have just doubled the food traffic in Vallco already. Okay, that's just one of the ideas, because why? We all need to eat. So that's the easiest retail space that we can help Vallco to improve. But you know, as a CEO, I travel globally, right? So I don't stop there neither. Once you have restaurants, well, what does people do after they have a good meal? They shop, right? We need to burn off all those good calories that we just acquired, right? So people like to shop. Well, unfortunately, as Gary just announced, Macy's are leaving. Probably JCPenney, Sears, they're all leaving. You know, that's a crisis, right? But in Chinese, crisis, 危机, could be actually treated as an opportunity. So how can we turn this crisis into an opportunity? So, you know, as an engineer, we tend to look at, well, let's borrow the success from someone else. In software engineering, we reuse the code from someone else once it's proven working. So let me look at an example. I used to travel to Taiwan a lot. In Taiwan, the biggest department store is Sogo and Mitsukoshi. They're not even a local Chinese store. It's a Japanese conglomerate, but who has a huge success in Taiwan. Okay, let's look at Spain. The biggest store in Spain is El Corte Inglés and Carrefour. El Corte Inglés is a local store, but Carrefour actually is a French conglomerate, the 4th largest company in the world. Okay, but yet they have a success in a completely different country, outside of their country. So I was thinking, well, maybe I'm the Vallco management. I should go visit the CEO of Carrefour and Sogo and Mitsukoshi, invite them to come to Vallco. All we have to say is, we are from Cupertino. We have Apple as a headquarter. We have Apple as the icon of the world here. So you, Carrefour or Sogo or Mitsukoshi, please come join us in Vallco, because we already have the icon of the world. You can become now part of the icon. Probably now you can also elevate your own status, set up operation in the city of Cupertino in Vallco.
So Andy, have you ever talked to the management of Vallco?
Well, not yet, but I guess now is a good time to start, right? Now we have a brand new management, because in the past, as Gary mentioned, the challenge we have in the past is we have different management in Vallco, but now we have a unified management of Vallco. So that's why in Chinese we say, wow, this is a great opportunity. We have a single management team that we can have an open dialogue. So these are some of the ideas I have like to share with our new management, you know, because we like to turn this crisis into a great opportunity. You know, Cupertino is already have a big icon, Apple. Our school is well known in the entire United States. I would like to use this opportunity, hopefully, to turn Vallco and Cupertino into icon of the world, if possible. These are some of my comments.
Thank you, Andy. As a startup in Silicon Valley, innovation is our DNA. It's inside our blood. What is innovation?
Very confident.
It's a way of thinking, it's a philosophy, it's a mindset. It's very closely related to leadership.
For me, it's really about finding the right fit between the product and the market.
Have a strong technology position, a strong market impact.
Innovation can be an idea, can be a product, can be a service, or can be a thinking. It can be everything, out-of-box thinking, not limited to your background, to the past. Welcome to Innovation Dialogue. I'm Diana Dane, and today we are going to talk about Cloud Festival. Today we have Carrie Davis, and she's here to share her story, which is so inspiring. What we are doing here is to summarize bring out the point and give a good presentation. Help people to bring out their idea to the whole world.
It's very important to be able to spot human talent and to be a good leader.
More importantly, it's how our corporate and partners perceive the value that's come out of the event.
It was all about seizing the opportunity rather than looking at the world as a set of problems.
I want to change the paradigm of angel investing being local. I want all of us to think global and to look at great opportunities in Asia or Europe, wherever it is in the world.
Come to Dingding TV. Let us work together to bring out your idea to share with the whole world.